8-track stereo, color TV in every room, and can snort a half a piece of dope every day. That's the American dream, nigga. Well, ain't it?
Made on a minuscule budget by an inexperienced band of ambitious upstarts, Superfly captured a moment when African Americans were fighting for self-determination in the streets and on the screen. The filmmakers went directly to the Harlem business community to raise the initial production costs. Such black sources of film funding had long been in short supply. Because the film was independently financed, Superfly's makers avoided studio interference, giving them a high degree of creative autonomy. From conception down to final cut, Sig Shore, Gordon Parks Jr., and Philip Fenty were free to craft their story about subcultural Harlem life. While other films financed by major studios were forced to recreate Uptown elsewhere following security problems, the Harlem investors' business clout and community ties ensured Superfly wound 8 weeks on location with no trouble whatsoever. Superfly looks authentic. The wardrobe, including O'Neill's velvet suits and the elegant outfits worn by Sheila Frazier, belonged to the actors or were borrowed from friends, particularly Nate Adams, who developed signature looks by digging up the clothing himself. Flashy trench coats and bold hats for Priest, plush fur coats for Georgia. Adams found Priest's tricked-out Cadillac Eldorado driven by a guy at a local shoe-shine parlor. Everything was rented on credit and shot without permits. Cameraman James Signorelli shot run-and-gun style, alternating herky-jerky handheld camera work on the streets and in cars, and static scenes in apartments and bars. To get police cars for a key scene, Shore telephoned 911, then filmed the black and white screeching to the scene. In the early 1970s, white people had overwhelming control of production, distribution, and exhibition. Film's craft unions were notoriously white and protective. Indeed, some union locals in the prestigious areas of camera work and sound had no black members. These films offered African American talent an unprecedented level of employment before and behind the cameras. But Superfly's black creative workers also did well. Almost everyone got a part of Superfly action. Parks and star Ron O'Neal divided a 10% cut of profits, less than producer Shore, but still a lot of money. Curtis Mayfield was by far the best paid African American on the project. Soundtrack royalties went to Mayfield, and the album sold a colossal 12 million units. In the end, black money gave black creatives the freedom to hire black workers and tell a story about black struggle. It could be said that Sig Shore, Gordon Parks Jr., Philip Fenty, Curtis Mayfield, and Ron O'Neal all lived the story of young blood Priest, lifting black people in film above the difficult times in which they lived.